To TSX. TSX, I may remind you, is short for the so-called experts. So that's experts with an X, and apparently I'm one of those so-called experts. I'm Phil Davis from The Washing Line, and you're the other one, Rafe Griffin, from here.
From here. Hello, Pied Piper. How are you?
Oh, no, I did a good job, didn't I? Nobody believed in me.
I was, well, we'll get to the backstory in a moment.
Yes.
Actually, let's get to the backstory at right now. So, Of course, we had the Gala Awards on Wednesday night.
Which was just sensational. I loved it. I had a great time.
And then everybody split off into two groups. There was the Ridges group.
Yes.
And the Jubilee Hotel group.
Yes.
And eventually the two groups merged at one stage.
Yes.
And there was just a bunch of people milling outside the Jubilee, wondering where to go next. And like seagulls, the taxi drivers started arriving.
Yes, they did.
But there was one man who showed everyone the way.
Oh, what a legend he is.
We almost single-handedly, I think, stopped a few Premier League players and coaches from being run over on St Paul's Terrace.
Indeed.
But you led the way to the next venue and you started wandering and the others followed in the end. And what true leadership style do you have?
Well, I've never claimed to be a leader, but I do claim to know the back streets of the valley from my times as a younger person. But I knew when they were heading. I saw the Jubilee. I went, well, the only place open now is in the mall. And nobody believed me, but I gathered them up. The people asked, is it much further? Much further? And I'm thinking, you are the cream of a football Brisbane. And you're like, I can't walk this far. I'm like, God, you run like 10 kilometres in a game or whatever. But I thought it was really good when we got there. It was a lot of fun.
Did you have an enjoyable night?
I had a fantastic night. It was good sitting there and...
I noticed you were tucked away up in the back corner.
I do like being tucked into the back corner. Yeah, it was good. I talked to heaps of people. I talked to a few people that I've only ever met on Facebook, which is an interesting thing. It's certainly a sign of the new age. That wouldn't have happened 7 years ago when I went to the first Gala Awards, but I had a great night, yeah. I thought it went really well. I love the band.
You like the band?
Oh, and I love the comedian. Abib, Fat Pizza.
Tahir?
Yes, well, he was called Abib in Fat
Yes,
Pizza
he was.
Pizza. That is one of the greatest shows.
Yes, highlight of the night from many was Tahir's performance.
Yes.
And, of course, Ahmad Azawi and Fern Doyle from Capalaba and Pine Hills, respectively, the Flight Centre Premier League and the Mount Franklin Women's Premier League Players of the Year.
Yeah, and look, they're both deserved winners, of course. People have been telling me that Fern Doyle was going to win it, and I think everyone guessed that Azawi was a real red-hot chance because he won games on his own in not a lesser team, I guess, but, like a lesser team, not a... and that's how you collect the points. I estimated he must have got 15 points from winning the game on his own, regardless.
We didn't give away the votes at the end, but he was a clear winner on 30 votes.
Yeah.
Second was Marko Jankovic with 14 votes.
Yes, interesting. Yeah, it's Marko Jankovic, which, we're going to have the FB Media Team of the Year go up at some point. And I think I'm the only one who picked Jankovic, I think.
Are you?
Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, look, the Gala Awards were fantastic. It was a great night. Well done to everyone. Well done to everyone who showed up. They were in a great mood, and it just worked really well. I had a wonderful time, and yes, thanks, Mark Dykeman, who had literally dragged me there, literally forced me to go because I know, I've been sick for 2 weeks, but literally forced me to go. I'm glad he did because I had a quiet night compared to some, but I had a really good time. It's just nice atmosphere. I love the band. I should come and play at my house sometime.
I'm sure
it was like being at the David Letterman show. You know what I mean? It was fantastic. I loved it.
I'm sure we can put you onto their band leader and we can organise something.
Yeah. So that was Football Brisbane Gala Awards. We have to talk about some football, don't we?
On the field now.
Oh, my God. How many games did we go to last weekend?
Was it last weekend, was it?
Oh, my God.
It feels like about 3 or 4 weeks ago. But
yeah,
you went to this one.
Yep.
Let's go backwards. Capital 4 on Sunday night.
Yep.
Where Sanford Rangers were successful in their trek down to St George Willawong.
Yeah, they were, and they wanted it. The classic semi-final, they wanted to win that game. And they defended really well down the middle of the park, which gives them space for their two speedy strikers in Ryan Gleeson, who won the Capital 4 Player of the Year. I thought that was the biggest laugh of the night, actually.
There were a few issues around the awarding of the Capital 4 player.
Yeah, Ryan Gleeson and Dane Forsyth. Dane Forsyth scored a goal. See how they go. I actually think, considering St George's last two games, that Sanford, this is going to come up all through this podcast, but that field, and it's massive. Now, how is that going to affect the teams, you know? I think that it will give Caboolture, and they're going to have so much space. You know, they're going to get balls knocked long, and they're going to have a lot more time to pick it to later. But anyway, it's a good thing that they won, because I think they've got a better chance of beating Caboolture.
Went into penalties between Virginia and Tarragindi.
Going in, there was no pulling out, late tackle. Both teams really wanted it. And
So if I read it right, with Tarragindi with the last kick of within 90 minutes,
I took the phone out of my pocket. It said not 23 seconds. I went, well, I'm out of here early tonight. 3 minutes later, up the other end, up the wing, on the far right side of the field, up the right wing, and went in off the post. And yes, you can guess it was mayhem, of course. Extra time. The hero of the evening was Chris Kuznin. Robbie Weaver had just saved one. And of course, you know, Tarragindi thought they were ahead.
Annerley,
No,
the
they
gap getting up
didn't
4-1.
Annerley did try. They put everything into it. In the first half, it was close. But the second half, once the goals started going in, it was all over. The young fellow Ben Raftery, came off the bench and scored a goal for Annerley in off the crossbar. But, you know, the Gap was a better side. I don't think there's any doubting that. And I think we could be in for an absolute belter. The midday kickoff on Sunday. But we'll talk about that later, won't we?
Well, it'll be Saturday at 2 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, I'm used to grand finals be on Sunday. 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Oh, good, of course. It's Saturday. Yay for Saturday. It's 2 o'clock. Good. So I don't have to get to Peninsula for 11 o'clock in the morning.
No.
Oh, God.
See, there's one saving grace.
I've been so busy, I just don't keep up with events. But, yeah, look, the Gap were clear winners. I don't think there's no doubt, any doubt about that. Jamal Spelter, Rui Nose, Cormac Malloy, he was my player of the match. They got quality all through the team, and it's going to be a cracking game we'll talk about later.
Another penalty shootout in Capital One.
Yes.
South United and Southside Eagles, and the visitors prevailed down at Wakeley Park.
Yes, an excellent win for Southside Eagles, because they were really up for it. And I think on a league, look, I was out at St George, but of course South United is on my way home from St George, so I went down and watched them lose in the penalty shootout, which was great. But look, Southside Eagles, in that league this year, South United, Southside Eagles, North Star, Grange Thistle, for a long time Bayside, for a while Taringa, these sides were all great. But those top four, you know, it all could have gone anyway. And to get Southside Eagles now have a chance of winning something, and say to Grange Thistle, Grange got promoted, but they didn't get any silverware for it. So I guess it's fair on that, on how the season's panned out. Grange Thistle versus Southside Eagles, and it's hard to pick a winner in that one. You know, I think both teams will be really pumped.
Well, we were speaking to Ben Ryan on Wednesday night, and he said it's going to be hard to assess this one and line it up.
Yeah, well, I think that they both will want this game. You know, they really, really will want it. They both got match winners in there. Well, they had Josh Falco and Matt Hornby were second and third in Player of the Year, won by Haran Amerovich from South. So, yeah, it's going to be a sensational grand final day. You can just feel it. Usually we get upsets, don't we?
We do, yes.
But there's not really any. I'm looking forward to that game. It's going to be brilliant.
And the Flight Centre Premier League, I'd have to admit, Holland Park just didn't look like they turned up for the second half, and it showed on the scoreboard.
No.
Not quite.
Rumours around that players leaving Holland Park, so we'll see what happens in the off-season. But, you know, rumours are rumours. When you're at the Gala Awards and you're one of the sober ones, everyone's telling you every rumour under the sun, which is very interesting.
Yeah, so that's Mitchelton through for another rematch against Lions. In the Mount Franklin Women's Premier League, well, while Annalise men's team bowed out, their women's team kept their finals hopes alive and in a win against Pine Hills. And in the Women's Capital League, Moggle also through to the grand final there. So
Yeah, that'll be on Saturday at...
No, they're both on Sunday at
Thunderwood Park.
Thunderwood Park.
Indeed. That's a great surface up there too. Gary Everton got Groundsman of the Year.
As crowned by Darren Lutton.
Oh, I didn't actually see that, to be honest. I missed that award.
There was no award. It was a...
Oh, I was going to say.
No.
How come I didn't see that?
Should we have that next year, though?
Oh, my God.
Something to introduce.
Groundsman of the Year, as crowned by Darren Lutton. I should have guessed. I thought, I didn't even know there was a Groundsman of the Year this year. Anyway.
Self-appointed, self-nominated?
Self-nominated, and yes. Yeah, well, that's good. So those games are all, through and over, and we've only got 1 week to go, Rafe.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
Well, usually I get to this time of the year and I think it's a good thing. And I get about 3 weeks into gardening my hat off, and I think, I wouldn't mind going to a game of football. You know? It's a long time to wait.
You can go to the Raw in the off-season.
Well, this is what I do. In fact, I don't go to the Raw in the off-season because I do so much travelling around during the football season. I always stay at home and watch the Raw. I only go to one single game of the Raw last year, whereas I used to go to every game. But I figure, well, I've done my bit to support the local game. I'll stay home. I'll pay for my Foxtel, and I'll buy a jersey every year. What more do they want?
Big weekend at AJ Kelly Park this weekend. Of course, we've got grand final day for Cap 1 and 2 and the Flight Centre Premier League on Saturday. But on the Sunday, 5 p.m. kickoff, we've talked about it before, Caboolture up against Sanford Rangers.
Well, you look at this game, and Caboolture are a better side than Sanford Rangers. You think that's a fair comment?
Yes, although it's going to go. It'll be tight between both sides.
Yeah, well, it's every position on the field than Sanford do. But in saying that, if Sanford can stand up and Ryan Gleeson, who in possession, they can win the ball on their own. One thing I did notice at the Gala Wars is people just kind of hang on our tips.
I try to blend into the background.
So anyway, well, I'm going to go with Caboolture because I think that Caboolture are a better team. Sanford, well, they've made the great run. I think that they'd be sentimental favourites, Caboolture, to win that one, and I think that they'll win by a couple of goals.
Capital 3 is being played at Elder Oval.
I thought it was at AJ Kelly.
It's at Elder Oval, Capital 3.
This game's going to be very narrow game. What can you say? I don't think the surface, the venue will have too much of an impact because they're used to playing on similar surface. I just, look, I've only seen Toowong once this year, so I go off what I know and learn and hear, but I suspect Virginia United, I'm going to tip Virginia United to win that 2-1.
And in the reserves, Virginia in that one once more, up against Tarragindi at 1:30. Capital 2. Now we go to AJ Kelly Park again for Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, that's tomorrow, It's Friday today.
No, it's for Saturday afternoon because people could be listening to this whenever. Anyway.
All right, it's not Friday today.
I still have to talk to you about that at some stage.
Oh, anyway. you want to pretend that it's not today?
Podcasts are timeless. Acacia Ridge versus The Gap, anyway, at 2 o'clock at AJ Kelly Park on Saturday.
I forgot you were my boss now. I keep forgetting that, especially on Casual Friday when you look so lovely in your jeans.
I just couldn't be bothered riding today, let's be honest.
I know. Where are we, AJ Kelly Park? We've got Acacia Ridge versus The Gap.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
You centred now? You know what we're doing?
I am so looking forward to this game.
You are?
Oh, yeah. I think this might end up being one of the games of the year. The grand finals tend to sometimes be dour affairs. But you ain't getting no dour out of Acacia Ridge versus The Gap. It might be a low-scoring affair, but those two sides, they know each other really well, and they, 1-0 and 1-0 the last two times they played each other. Yeah, and The Gap, I saw the other night, they're quality, and they'll be up for it. I would suggest, even though Acacia Ridge beat The Gap, that The Gap will be favourites. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. A single goal could decide it. Who do you think's going to win?
I think Acacia Ridge.
Okay.
Will that short turnaround be an issue?
I don't think so. Not too much of a short turnaround because it's like a training run. It's on training night. Yeah, so... no, I don't think it'll have much of an impact. And I, respects to Annerley, I think it was it wasn't a tough game.
Capital 2 Grand Final, Saturday afternoon at AJ Kelly Park, 4:30 p.m. It's Grange Thistle up against Southside Eagles.
Both sides are littered with great players. The Grange Thistle probably, they got promoted. But they've both beaten South United. A game that goes to a penalty shootout this weekend. It's going to be this one. And on the other side of the coin, you've got Matt Hornby and Curtis Mabry and various other players, Ethan McCoy. It's going to be great. Both teams are going to be pumped. The supporters are going to be... I'm pumped. I'm pumped now. I wish it was today.
Would you have expected Southside Eagles to get to this point based on their late season run?
No.
They've come from 4th to make the grand final, which is an achievement in itself.
Yes, it is. I totally agree with that statement. No, I didn't think they'd make the grand final. They were really good for a long time, but they just lost their edge at the end of the season, Just a little. I mean, they didn't fall away or anything, but I know Big Roger's got the troops pumped.
He was very confident on Wednesday night, wasn't he?
He was very confident.
And as he said, look, they do take a bit of confidence and momentum into this game, given those latest two results.
Yeah, well, they both take, momentum into the game. I don't know who to tip in this one, to be honest. I've been putting it off. I've looked at all of them. I was flicking through all the games this morning thinking, oh, my God. And it's a split hair I think it will be decided. It will only think Grange Thistle are going to win.
I'm going to let my heart rule my head this time as an old Thistle old boy.
think they're a better team.
As a Grange old
do,
boy and
yeah.
someone who's hung around there when they were back in the 4X League.
It's the only one we agree on.
Flight Centre Premier League, 7 p.m, Lions versus Mitchelton.
Yes. Well, I would suggest in the men's where we have a clear favourite, clear favourite to beat Mitchelton because they beat Mitchelton easily last time in the second half. I think Lions are a better team, and I know Mitchelton are a great side, and I've taken on all the criticism over the year, which I don't think was deserved because it wasn't intended. But I think there's a clear favourite in this one because I think Lions have got more excellent players.
Enjoy, will he make a difference?
Absolutely, will make a difference. He will make it. If Mitchelton are going to win, they're going to need Enjoy. If they are going to win, they want that the Lions. Well, they won the league. I'm just going to have to tip Lions to win that one.
Yeah, look, you're the same in the first half of the season when these sides met at Taroa Park. Very even first 4 goals in the second half. Same story second time round. On that basis, I'm tipping Lions.
If anyone can beat Lions, it's Mitchelton. I'm tipping Lions, but if anyone can beat Lions, it's Mitchelton. They're the team. It'll be a high-scoring grand
Really?
final. Yeah, I think it will maybe looking at 3-2.
Okay.
It's been a fantastic season for everyone, and there's been some great successes. We'll do a wrap next week, but good luck to everyone going in this week.
Now, before we go,
Yeah.
we did talk about Thunderwood Park before.
Yes, we did.
So the Women's Capital League Grand Final on Sunday afternoon. And we touched on it earlier on. The Mount Franklin Women's Premier League at 4:30 between Mitchelton and Annerley. Can Mitchelton wrap up the treble? They've already claimed the championship and the cup. The grand final on the line on Sunday afternoon.
Well, I've been Annerley and Mitchelton over recent times a few times, and if Annerley can beat Mitchelton, it'll be a big upset between Mitchelton and the others in that league. So Mitchelton will win that for me. But look, it's going to be a great event. We know it's going to be a great event, and Peninsula always have great events. That time when the Raw played there and there was 7 million people, it ran like clockwork. They really do know how to organise an event, and I say that in all sincerity. Not because I want free food.
You have been?
I have been sick for 2 weeks. No, I have been Phil Davis, and you?
Who is Rafe Griffin?
And we will talk to you. Come up and say good day on Grand Final Day. Seriously, I'll be wandering around. All right, catch you next week.